Okay, the first thing that I want to make is a dried orange garland. So I've only done this once before. I did it last year. I actually used my air fryer for this, but I think this year I'm gonna try in the oven. But this is a very simple DIY. I have 2 oranges and then 2 grapefruits, some cotton yarn that I'm gonna use to string them together. A cutting board. I'm gonna use a knife with a serrated edge just so I can get thinner slices. And then I want to go buy some cinnamon sticks. Are cinnamon sticks expensive? Anyways, okay, I'm gonna slice these up. See if I can hold them up. Finished cutting them. So I just have them resting on this towel right now. I tried to take out as much moisture as I could just with like a paper towel that will cut down the time a little bit. So I'm gonna let these sit out. I can't decide if I want to do it overnight or if I'm impatient, I might just let it sit out for a couple hours. But I am gonna go to the store really quick to get some cinnamon sticks so I can add them to my garland. I do think I want the garland to be pretty spaced out. Like I don't want them all to be too close together just because I like that look, so I can have like maybe like an orange, then a cinnamon stick, then a grapefruit, then a cinnamon stick, or I don't know, I'm kind of just winging it. It's not that serious, but okay, you can probably tell it by the lighting, but it's later at night, so I think these have been sitting since, I think they've been sitting for like 4-ish hours, and I know I should probably let them sit longer, but I'm a little impatient, so I'm gonna start getting them ready to put in the oven. But what I did find for the garland was I found these little wooden beads, which are perfect because I'm gonna put these on the string. And then I also bought cinnamon sticks. Oh, I went to 2 different food lines to find this because it was on sale, but they were sold out, so I went to the other one, but it wasn't on sale at the other one. I just destroyed my nail polish trying to take that off. It's gonna smell so good in here. I'm gonna put one in the oven with a wire rack because I've heard that helps because it gets the airflow from like underneath. And then I'm gonna try the other one with parchment paper. I think it definitely did help that I let them sit out for a little bit because they do feel drier. Okay, so wire rack, parchment paper. We're at 200 degrees right now. I think that's a little bit on the higher end. Like I think it's like 170 to 200. So I'm gonna put these in the oven and then I have to flip them every 30 minutes. So I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes. Flip number 1 is done. Now I'm gonna put them back in the oven. I think I'm gonna switch the rack so then I don't know, they'll be a little bit more even. I still think that the wire rack is gonna dry a lot faster. Starting another timer now, and I'll let you know how many times I do this. It's very repetitive. Okay, update. So I ended up having the oranges in the oven for at least 4 hours last night. I thought they were all good, but there were a few that had a little bit of moisture left. So I ended up putting those ones back in the oven for like another hour, but I think they're finally done. So I'd say total, they took like 5.5 hours for the ones that were a little bit thicker. But for the thin ones, like some of them only took like 3.5 to 4 hours. So now we have all of our oranges. I picked up cinnamon sticks. Did I already tell you guys about this? I'm just gonna poke a little hole in each orange and grapefruit. Also, I love like the difference in color and shape between the grapefruit and the orange. Like I'm so glad that I got both because I think it's gonna make the garland look a lot cooler. So I'm gonna string all of this stuff together. So I'm thinking of putting it on this brick wall here because this is kind of like the Christmas corner where all of the Hi Puffer Snoopy. This is where all of like the holiday stuff is kind of. So I think I'm gonna put it on this wall, one on the tree right now. This one didn't like fully dry and I didn't feel like putting in the oven again. So this one I'll just have to throw out. I think the other ones will keep since they're all dried. So So this is kind of the pattern that I think I'm gonna do. I wanted to do them pretty spaced out because I just like the way that looks better. So I'm gonna do a bead in between each slice, and then every 4 do a cinnamon stick. And hopefully I have enough of everything to fill up the string, but I honestly think I'll have extra. Okay, moving on. So if you look over my fireplace, you'll notice that I don't have a stocking, so that's gonna be the next project. And then I'm gonna make one for Elliot too, obviously. So, and I'm really trying to use things up that I hold on to for a long time. So I'm putting my foot down and I'm gonna use this fabric that I've been kind of saving for something special. It's this really cool patterned fabric. I think I'm just gonna kind of freehand it, and then yeah, I think it's pretty easy. So I'm just drafting a little pattern right now. I'm kind of just freehanding what I think a stocking would look like, and so I'm gonna add seam allowance, cut it out, and then trace out my fabric. They look a little weird because I still haven't pressed them yet, but I have to add the lining still, but I have to go because I have like a friend's birthday dinner thing. So we're gonna have to come back to this tomorrow. This has suddenly turned into like a 3-day project because I've only been able to work on it like 30 minutes at a time. Hi, how are you doing? So it is the next day. I just sewed the lining pieces and I left a little hole so I can flip it once I put it in here. So I just need to iron this because it looks a little weird right now, but I'm gonna add this little thing in. I don't know, do we like the silk tie? Okay, I'm just gonna do the silk ribbon. We can redo it if it looks weird. So now I'm gonna take my outer fabric and I'm gonna put it in my lining. You want to make sure that the seams on the side line up, and then I'm just going to pin around the top. Now I have it all pinned around the top, and then I also have the little tie, and now I'm just going to sew all the way around. Okay, moment of truth. So now I'm going to take where I had the hole before and I'm going to flip everything inside out. The nice thing with this method is that you don't have any seams to finish. Now it's like this. I'm just going to sew this little hole and then we're going to be done. Now we just push in the lining. This isn't really a great tutorial, I'm sorry. Okay, next one. Before we move on to the next little DIY, I want to show you guys the ornaments that I'm going to be teaching in my workshop. They're all like different difficulties. Most of these I think you can find like a similar pattern online. I kind of just like freehanded it based on pictures that I saw. So starting with the easiest one, this one requires no knitting at all. It's just this little hat and inside there's a toilet paper roll. I used to make these when I was like a kid. Next is this tiny little wreath and I put a little bow. This one is super cute. It's a little bell. I'm gonna bring these little actual bells so people can put them in. And then I just put this little ribbon. This one's like the most advanced, but it's still not that hard. I didn't want to do anything where you had to knit with either circular needles or double pointed needles just because that can get kind of confusing, but it's a little sweater ornament and I did some duplicate stitching. I made a little hanger out of wire. Yay, so that's what I'm going to be teaching next week. I'm super excited for it. So my next idea was to do like painted candles, and I've seen it online where people paint with like acrylic paint, but I think that's flammable, so that wouldn't really work. So I know people paint with like actual candle wax, so I went to the scrap exchange. So I found this candle and I was just gonna like shave it down and melt it. Then I realized that's probably gonna be too much work. So I went to Michael's today and bought a bunch of candle stuff. So I have these candles that I'm gonna paint, and then I have red tea light candles. So I'm just gonna light them and let them melt a little. Take a little paintbrush, dip it, and then paint on. I couldn't find any green tea lights, so I just bought a tapered candle. So this is probably gonna be a little bit more complicated to use. And I have these little candle holders, so once they're done I can put them up on the mantle and they'll be little Christmas candles. I think this is one of my least favorite DIY projects that I've ever done. It was just so hard. I know I didn't have like the best materials, but still it was so hard. I honestly would have rather paint like LED candles because this was so hard to do with the wax. Also with this candle, I don't know why I thought that I was gonna be able to dip my paintbrush in that little area where the wax will pull, because I think I set the paintbrush on fire like several times. This is kind of gross, but hairs are like singed off. If you look at them from afar, they're not that bad. But so this is the little holly one that I made last night. And then here we have a candy cane. See, it doesn't look bad from afar, which is why honestly I'm not gonna say it was a fail because it's not too bad from afar. But if you look up close, and then I just did this one. This one's honestly probably the worst one. It's just like little bows. They're not too pretty. Like, what is that? And then I started this tree one, but then my green wax ran out. I literally was shaving this candle with a potato peeler. That's how that turned out. I mean, it's not bad. The good thing is I don't think they turned out great, so I don't really care about burning the candles, where if like they turned out super good, like I don't think I would burn the candle because I wouldn't want to ruin it. Yeah, honestly, now that I'm looking at it on camera, like they're not too bad from afar. So I'm gonna put them on my mantle and I'm actually gonna light them right now. What do we think? It is so dark out. Look, it's raining so hard, which is kind of cool because we haven't had rain in a while, and then I kind of have an excuse not to leave the house. This is gonna be the last DIY in this video because I feel like I'm getting a little carried away, and I have a lot of other videos to put out for 12 days of Kait-mas obviously, but I kind of got really into this one. This is gonna be very easy. I'm gonna link the video that I used down below. So I really want a star to put over the orange garland. Let me show you. Sorry, the lighting's kind of weird, but I really want a star to put over this orange garland, and I didn't want to buy new paper, so I'm gonna use some brown paper bags from Whole Foods. And I did a little mock-up with some packing paper, which this paper was not thick enough to hold its shape, but this is kind of what we're going for. It's just this little origami tutorial that I found online, so I'll link it down below because they'll probably do a lot better at explaining it than I do. I'm actually gonna use hot glue for this, so. Okay, all done. It's not perfect. Obviously, if I was using better paper, it probably would have turned out better, and I do have a little hole in the middle, but I really like it. I used to do origami when I was a kid, like all the time. I had like little books. I used to make the little paper frogs that jump. So I'm just gonna put this right over the orange garland. Yay, cool. Had so much fun making this video, especially because I feel like I haven't really decorated that much like in my adult life for Christmas. We actually moved into this apartment on December 24th last year, so we didn't really get to decorate for Christmas, which is why I kind of wanted to do a little bit extra this year. So let me know in the comments your favorite DIY project from this video, or maybe any other holiday decor DIYs that you've done so far this year or are planning to do still, because I love to hear what you guys think. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like and make sure you subscribe because I would love to have you here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.